everybody, happy Thursday. Now today we're going to talk about school anxiety and how to deal with it. But before I jump into that, are you new to my channel? Welcome! I put out videos on Mondays and on Thursdays, so make sure you're subscribed and have those notifications turned on so that you don't miss out. Now today's question is, hey Katie, school is starting and I am freaking out. Can you do a video about school anxiety and how we can better deal? And yes, I can definitely talk about this. I know a lot of you are starting school right now, whether you're just going through your school process or maybe you're returning to school to better improve your skills for work or get a higher education. There are a lot of things that we can do to better manage. And my first tip is HALT. Yes, it's a DBT acronym, and HALT stands for hungry, angry, lonely, tired. And I say this because we can't do anything if we're not taking care of our basic needs. Have you been eating properly? Are you only eating junk food or not eating enough? Pay attention. Have you been really angry and aggressive lately, just feeling like full of emotion, like you haven't had any place to healthfully get it out? Are you lonely? Have you not been returning friends' phone calls? Are you kind of isolating? Or are you tired? How's your sleep schedule? I want you to take note of these things. Maybe it's time to go to the doctor and get your physical, get checked out, make sure everything is okay with you. Maybe that's seeing a dietitian. If eating's always been an issue for you, now might be a good time to see someone and make sure that you're following a meal plan, having a well-rounded diet and getting enough energy for your body to do all you're asking it to do. And it also means that we might need to make some time in our schedule for some self-care. The anger, that feeling of angry or being lonely means that we're not taking enough time to vent all we're feeling. That might mean we need to see a therapist. That might mean that we need to take some time to journal or go for walks or pet an animal. Do anything that kind of is that breath in for all the breath out that school asks of us. If you don't know what I'm talking about, I'm referring to Brené Brown talks about creatively and energetically. We need to breathe in for every breath out. And studying, doing work, being there for others are all breaths out. So we need to breathe in. We need to increase our self-care so that we can keep doing all we're doing. And if sleep has always been an issue for you and you just don't know how to improve it, I'll link my video on, better sleep tools and tips and techniques in the description so you can check that out and hopefully that will get you back in a more healthy sleep cycle. And number 2, prepare for success. Organize and plan. All of these things can help just put our mind at ease. I find a lot of my patients who get anxious about school starting and quizzes happening and tests are coming up and oh my God, we just feel overwhelmed. But I find if we take our syllabi, we break down the semesters or quarters into what's going to be due this time, how many pages do I need to read, we get our planner out and we plan out each and every day, really, really helps us see what's going to be asked of us and help us calm down. The first week of school, when we get all all of our syllabi and they're telling us all the tests and all the reading, we're getting all our books, it can be overwhelming from the get. We're like, oh my God, I'm gonna have to do all this. It's only like 4 months, sweet mother, and we just shut down. We can just have panic attacks, we can feel overwhelmed. But if we take the time to really break it down into those small chunks, it can really help us better visualize and prepare for success. And also just planning in general will help us keep on top of things so that we don't get behind. That's always my patient's biggest worry is like, oh, school started, okay, I'm caught up at the beginning. So how do we stay caught up? And planning and organizing will help us better do that. And if you know yourself and every couple of weeks you tend to have a really bad mental health day, we need to prepare and plan for that too. And we can black out a day where we're like, this is just a Netflix and sleep day. And that's totally fine. But by setting ourselves up and organizing it, we can make sure that we don't fall behind and we're able to keep up and feel good about ourselves. And number 3, gather your resources. Are there certain things that help put your mind at ease? Things that you can do to help better calm your system down? Is that a fidget toy that maybe you have in your pocket at all times? Maybe that means that if you could listen to music during tests, you'd do better. What are the things that help you soothe yourself? Do you need a break to go to the bathroom, do a breathing exercise? What helps you? Start gathering your resources. This is a good friend that you can talk to and vent to about all that you're feeling and the overwhelm that you're experiencing after your first week of school. Make sure that you have these resources available and you make time for them and you find a way to utilize them during your day. And I usually, if my patients struggle with school anxiety and they start to feel really overwhelmed, I have them make a list of their resources at the beginning. And we just kind of put together a plan. And if you're in therapy, I would encourage you to ask your therapist to do this with you, where you list your resources, you list when they're available, making sure that someone's available 24/7. Like one of those people off of those lists or one of the things, like 7 Cups of Tea is a great resource. It's like a peer support online. You can pay, I believe, for a therapist to be your connection, but at the very least, it's just peer support. So make sure you have online resources, in-person resources, and just things that you can do on your own. Make sure your resources cover all 24 hours of the day because we never know when the anxiety might hit. Number 4, talk to your school. If your anxiety is preventing you from succeeding, it's making testing just impossible. We struggle to be in class for the full amount of time or even maybe get to school. If you find that happening, speak up and reach out. Talk to your school counselor or a teacher that you trust because IEPs and 504s exist for a reason. And if you don't know, IEPs are just like an educational plan that they put together for you, and 504s is another version of that. It just depends on your need and what your school offers, but legally, they have to offer something. So reach out and speak up because if that means you do better, like I said, listening to music when you take a test, or testing on your own in a separate room, or given more time on a test or a quiz, or anything like that, we're gonna need to talk to them because they'll work with you. Maybe it's really hard for you to get up and out in the morning because you struggle to sleep. Maybe you don't have a first period. Trust me, I worked with a lot of schools and got a lot of different IEPs approved. So make sure you talk to them because they legally have to offer things and we wanna make sure we get you the resources you need so that you can succeed. And number 5, talk to a therapist like myself. Often when we're getting IEPs or 504 plans, we have to have a therapist or other mental health professional or at least a doctor's note of some sort. I usually go to the meetings myself with like the plan that I want for my patient and I fight for you. And so having a therapist, having someone who's on your side fighting for you can be really helpful because I find my patients often shut down in those meetings. It can be really overwhelming. Often they're talking about things that just like we don't even know and it's just like above our head kind of because they're talking about, you know, what the school rules are and like what the state regulations are and like what they can offer. It just can be overwhelming. So having an advocate, having someone there to fight for you can be really helpful. Not to mention on its own, seeing a therapist if we're struggling with anxiety can help offer tips, tools, and techniques and things that we can use to better manage the symptoms and then help us figure out where the anxiety came from or what actually stirs it the most and help us process through that so we can heal it so that the anxiety happens with less and less frequency and maybe goes away completely. So having a therapist on our team could be really beneficial. And my 6th and final tip is role play if you need to. I know you didn't see this coming, but often when I'm telling you to speak up, talk to teachers, get an IEP, talk to a therapist, a lot of you are like, I'm frozen with anxiety, I don't even know what to say. So, like I've always talked about, writing things down, bullet pointing them, keeping them as short and simple as possible, and then practicing. Just practice saying it. Even practice right now to this video. What would you say? How would you verbalize it? I want you to say it over and over so it becomes like second nature. You don't even have much time to stress or worry. It's like you've memorized what you're gonna say and you can just keep saying it. And taking the time to practice saying it out loud will lessen the chance that we'll get there and like black out. You know how I've done that too, where I get overwhelmed, I'm like, boo, my brain just forgets all that it has learned. If we've said it enough that it's almost just like, it doesn't even have any emotional charge anymore, we can just say it, that will give us the best chance of getting out what we need to get out to them so that we can get the help that we need. If you're in a high school or lower, that means that you could talk to a school counselor or a teacher. If you're in college, that could be going to the wellness center or health center, whatever they have, whatever they call it, and setting up that therapy appointment, whatever it may be. There's also student resources is another great place to go if you're on a college campus, because that's where they offer like IEP/504s, even though they don't call them that at the collegiate level, but they still have plans and programs in place. Even one of my best friends in college used to take notes for the Student Resource Center. She got paid to do that because those who struggled to focus in class needed those notes to reference, and so she would give them in and they'd get them. So know that there are resources available. Just practicing saying it out loud will take away, hopefully, some of the anxiety or worry about speaking about it and help ensure that when we do speak up and reach out, we get the help we need and deserve. This video has been brought to you by the Kenyans on Patreon. If you would like to support the creation of these mental health videos, click the link in the description and check it out. I hope you found that helpful. I know school is in full swing and a lot of you are feeling maxed out, but know that there are resources available. There are people who want to help. So hopefully these tips going through these steps will help better prepare you and better set you up for success. But as always, let me know in the comments down below. What are some things that you did? Did I misspeak about something? Are there other tools and resources that we should know about? Let us know in those comments down below, and I will see you next time. Bye.